Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 5:34, and Pink Floyd with Bax and Nagle and Rock 102.
So I guess this wind advisory is now in effect until tomorrow morning at 1 a.m. They said Thursday at 1 a.m. yesterday, and it's now Thursday at 5:34, and the wind is still whipping up out there. So who knows who's right? And by the way, Saturday we can get anywhere from a dusting to 21 inches of snow.
And everything in between.
I wish I had a job as a weatherman.
Yeah, that's a tough gig, isn't it?
Yeah.
Man, what a show today. Scott Zolak will be joining us. We're going to talk a lot of Patriot football today. This is the final appearance by Zolak for a couple months till next season starts off. And it's brought to you by Window World. It's also Thunderbird Thursday. We got tickets to the sold-out game to see the Patriots. The Thunderbirds take on Providence. It's the throwback night with traditional Springfield Indian jerseys on the ice.
The game is sold out.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so, I mean, if you want a chance, you got to listen to us.
So there's that and other things, too. Just about 5:36 on Rock 102.
Singing with
102 Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 5:51 and ZZ Top with Bax and Nagle and Rock 102.
Wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour. That continues maybe, I guess, until tomorrow now. High of 27 tomorrow. A high of 35. It's 20 right now in downtown Springfield.
Hollywood Trash is brought to you by the Western Mass Masons, calling for all your foundation and chimney needs.
Somehow you still care about what's happening in Hollywood. So, from Tinseltown, 3,000 miles away, it's Steve Nagle's Hollywood Trash.
Well, the wildfires are still raging out of control in Southern California, and several celebrities have already lost their homes. Here's a quick rundown. The Pacific Palisades home of Adam Brody and Leighton Meister was reduced to rubble and ashes. Anna Faris also lost her home, as did Spencer Pratt and Heidi Montag from The Hills. That's a blast from the past, huh? What do you think? The Hills?
The Hills?
Yeah.
That's it. Goes back a few.
Paris Hilton lost her Malibu beach house. And as of last night, Fergie's house was in the path of the flames, too. Ben Affleck fled his $20 million home, and guess where he went?
J-Lo's house.
No, Jennifer Garner's house.
Close.
Her neighborhood hasn't been told to evacuate yet, but they're on standby. Ashton Kutcher was seen watering plants on a friend's property in an attempt to keep the fire from spreading. Does he not realize the
major water restriction?
60 mile an well, I don't think anybody cares about that right now, but the 60 mile an hour winds are going to help because you watered your ficus outside?
You know, this is a unspeakable tragedy. There's no question about it. The devastation is absolutely jaw-dropping. I've seen the pictures. I've seen the videos. But if there is a way that I could maybe donate to a rich actor's home and in a chance to rebuild. You know, they've all got deductibles. I'd like to know where I could donate money.
Well, didn't they try that with Malibu? With the was it Malibu in Hawaii?
Yeah, Malibu's in California.
No, what's the one in Hawaii?
Honolulu.
No, they had the big fires out there.
Yeah, I don't know the town, but yeah. But I mean, if there was a way that I could help Heidi Montag recover, I'd like to help.
Won't somebody please think of the celebrities?
Today, I am thinking about it.
For what it's worth, though, I mean, some of these celebrities are not, like, well off, like some of these, like, veteran actors. You know what I mean?
In some neighborhoods, your $5 million home is like your starter home. That's like a HUD house.
Right. James Woods broke down in tears talking about the loss of his home on CNN. Other stars who had to evacuate or lost their homes include Mark Hamill, Mandy Moore, Jamie Lee Curtis, Jennifer Grey. See, that's Jennifer Grey. I mean, that's a person that probably needs the help.
And I would be more than happy to donate my time and effort to help her rebuild.
I spent all that money on that nose job, and I couldn't get work for years after that. Now I lost my home to a fire. Won't you please think of the plastic surgeon that did this to me?
Yeah, and the other plastic surgeons who have to move out of the neighborhood.
Yeah, Ricky Lake and Eugene Levy. Billy Crystal, John Goodman, Miles Teller, Carrie Elwes, and Anthony Hopkins. In addition, what?
In all seriousness, though, I mean, this is a disaster. I mean, this is absolutely awful.
I'm watching it yesterday. I was watching Amazon's got this KTLA channel out there, the NBC channel, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's NBC. And they were showing, it's 24 hours of news there now because of what's going on. And this lady goes, hey, just an hour ago, this was a Chase Bank. And then the thing is just like, it's like the only place they can go that's sort of safe, like dead on Sunset Boulevard. And they see this Chase Bank blowing up, and I'm thinking, if I was the manager of the Chase Bank, I would go take all the money out of the vault, and then as the bank vault burns down.
Yeah. Except here's the thing.
What?
I think if you were the manager of a Chase Bank and you took all the money out of the vault, you would no longer be the manager of a Chase Bank.
But you could hear the alarm going off on the ATM, like somebody was robbing it, but it was just bursting into flames.
Yeah, no kidding, man.
In addition, premieres for movies like Unstoppable and The Wolfman were canceled. Production. Won't somebody please think of the TV shows and movies that won't be made?
Won't you help a struggling actor?
And Palisades Charter High School, used in movies like Carrie and Freaky Friday, burned down. Corey Feldman had an interesting take. He said, quote, "My heart goes out to all..." I don't even know how to do a Corey Feldman.
Well, you're pretty good.
Yeah. "My heart goes out to all the innocent lives that will be lost in the forest, and to the good people who will lose everything and don't deserve this, although some karma may be at play." He's probably inferring to those people.
He's always got to dig it in a little bit, doesn't he?
Well, sounds like he was abused by a bunch of people in Hollywood and nobody did anything about it, so he's got a little beef to carry with him. Speaking of weird stuff in Hollywood, Diddy is upset that suspected healthcare shooter Luigi Mangione is getting more attention in prison. Won't somebody think of Diddy at this time?
Maybe if we all got together and sent a greeting card or, I don't know, an edible arrangement for Diddy. Just so he feels like, we haven't forgotten him.
Sources say, even in prison, Diddy's ego is bigger than life. He always wants to be the center of everything. He has to be the biggest star wherever he goes. It's all that matters to him.
In prison, though, does it matter to anybody else?
Wouldn't it be just mattering to you that you get out of prison and try to exonerate yourself? Or is it your ego so big that you need everybody to bow in front of you everywhere you go?
I've seen enough episodes of Oz and Orange is the New Black to know that kind of attitude doesn't last very long.
Yeah. 59-year-old Brooke Shields is releasing a memoir on Tuesday called Brooke Shields is Not Allowed to Get Old, Thoughts on Aging as a Woman. This is the book we all needed, because in it, she reveals that in her 40s, she had a labia reduction surgery due to discomfort, bleeding, and chafing that she had dealt with since high school, but that's not all she got. Brooke says at a post-op checkup, the surgeon informed her that he, quote, threw in a little twofer. He performed a rejuvenation on her, which is a vaginal tightening procedure, without her consent.
Steve, will you excuse me while I soak my head in ice-cold water?
Who wants to return to Goo Lagoon?
I'm getting hot flashes.
It felt like such an invasion, such a bizarre, like rape of some kind. Nothing pointed towards this need to be tighter or smaller or firmer or younger, especially down there. Aren't you glad we got to that story?
So happy to hear this.
Speaking of...
Because, I've always kind of wondered.
Is this when Hollywood trash jumps the shark when we start talking about Brooke Shields' labia reduction surgery?
Steve, I've been thinking about that since high school.
Kim Kardashian apparently still has Christmas on her mind as she took to Instagram Tuesday to release some behind-the-scenes photos from the racy Santa baby video she made. We were talking about that.
I should have said something to say.
Oh, my God. The last time I made a Christmas video was when Ray J and I had me perform a Felice Gobble Knob in that sex tape you can purchase on YouPorn for $39.95. Felice Gobble Knob.
Wah, 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 wah.
Felice Gobble Knob.
Wah, 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 wah. Caitlin?
I never got that done in Dirty with Your Mother, Chris Kim, but we once had another evening of watching some dirty movies.
Really? What'd you see?
First, we watched the Down Under Wasteland flick Mad Hax the Chode Warrior. Then it was the World War II-inspired film with a bunch of sweaty guys trapped in a submarine. Spum Silent, Spum Deep, starring Spurt Lancaster.
What else did you see?
And finally, we watched the one with the dirty ghost, where if you say his name 3 times, he arrives all over the place. That would be Meadlejuice, starring Michael Skeeton. Meadlejuice, Meadlejuice, Meadlejuice. That's the sequel. Did you ever call for Beetlejuice?
No, I have not yet called for him.
Would you like to?
I don't think I need to.
And that's your Hollywood Trash.
Now, Bax's View from the Couch, brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, Winter Storm Headquarters, before and after the storm.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Folks, as you know, the game of hockey is a cold weather sport that requires the physical properties of water to transform itself from the life-sustaining liquid into a solid, often known as ice. You see, ice is among one of the most important elements of ice hockey, particularly at the professional level, where the playing surface is of particular importance. Let me reemphasize, it is the ice that separates the professionals from the rank amateurs. And while it would seem obvious to some, apparently not so obvious to others, including those in the National Hockey League. On December 31st, the Chicago Blackhawks hosted the St. Louis Blues in the NHL Winter Classic at Wrigley Field. The Winter Classic, as you might know, is an outdoor event in which a professional regular season hockey game is played amidst the elements on a freezing cold day. During this last Winter Classic, the game was played in front of 41,000 freezing hockey fans, which was seen as a major success. So much so that the NHL would like to expand the Winter Classic to other NHL cities. This is why they've scheduled next season's Winter Classic for January 2nd between the Florida Panthers against the New York Rangers. Here's the problem. The game hasn't been scheduled for the frosty confines of frigidly cold New York City. The game has been scheduled to be played at Lone Depot Park, home of the Miami Marlins. Now, I don't know how much you know about science, but from what I understand, the freezing point of water is exactly 32 degrees. The average temperature in the city of Miami, Florida during the month of January is 76 degrees, a difference of 44 degrees. Palm trees, orange groves, the elderly population, those are the things that grow during the month of January in Miami, Florida. You know what doesn't grow during this time of year? Ice. Yet the NHL chose to ignore that scientific fact and schedule an outdoor hockey game anyway. Call me crazy, but unless you're planning on playing hockey in the mud or on top of sheets of plywood, there's a chance that this could be a profoundly terrible idea. But one that I'll watch anyway, like a roadside accident waiting to happen. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. You know, I'm looking at the deals this month at Rocky's. The bird food, the storage totes, the hand tools. I'm looking for the printed flyer. You can pick one up at the Rocky's store or check it out online at Rockies.com. What's on sale at Rocky's? It's always at your fingertips at Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch.
Rock 102, Springfield's.
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 6:13 in Rush with Bax and Nagle and Rock 102.
Well, as far as the weather goes, we're going to still see wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour. It was blowing last night, man.
No, I know.
I think I woke up around 1 o'clock in the morning and I heard some, I heard my wind chime. I have this wind chime outside. It doesn't really get a lot of, it doesn't really jingle because of the where it's located.
But it did last night?
But it did last night. Woke me up. And that's going to continue all the way until 1 o'clock tomorrow morning. High at 27 today. It is 20. Feels like 5 right now in downtown Springfield.
Scott Zolak is going to be joining us after 8 o'clock today. It's our final time with Scott for the season because, as you know, until they get their act together, there's not going to be much to talk about. Anyway, so Scott Zolak coming up after 8, brought to you by Window World. And it's also a Thunderbird Thursday. Tickets for Saturday's game against Providence, they're all sold out, but we'll have a 4-pack of tickets plus 4 hats and 4 koozies for Saturday's game against the Providence Bruins.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good game. That's for sure. You know, the sold out game.
It's not only sold out, it's also going to be a throwback night where all the Thunderbird players will be dressed like they were their grandfathers who played for the Springfield Indians.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
Pretty neat.
Yeah, I'll take you back.
We got all this weather going on across the country. Florida residents are warned to prepare for falling iguanas as the temperature drops because they just can't stand the cold. They're used to tropical weather. So the temperature drops below 50 degrees. These things just they don't die. They just
they freeze
still.
up.
They get still. Well, they freeze themselves up. It's like their little protection. That's how they get that.
None of them own coats, because why would they need to? It's Florida.
That's right. As residents across the Gulf Coast and Southeast brace for a significant drop in temperatures, experts say there's a chance iguanas could start dropping from trees. Through at least January 12th, widespread temperatures 12 to 25 degrees below the typical early January temperatures are expected to expand across most of the central and eastern United States. Should the cold wave evolve to its full potential, maximum temperature departures could plunge 30 to 40 degrees below 40 degrees Fahrenheit below the historical average from the northern plains and Midwest to the interior southeast through the first 2 weeks of January. That's according to major meteorologists. The Arctic air is making its way across Florida with highs in the 50s on Tuesday. On Wednesday, many woke up to lows in the lower 40s and high 30s.
Oh, my God.
How do you ever survive?
You know, I don't know if you heard the story that I did in the View from a Couch.
Yeah.
The NHL's Winter Classic, which happened just on the 31st in December.
Yeah.
Happened in Chicago, between Chicago and the St. Louis Blues. And it was 41,000 people on hand, major success. The NHL decides, hey, you know what? Let's expand this to some other NHL cities. Let's schedule it for January 2nd next year between the New York Rangers and the Florida Panthers.
All right.
That game's not going to be in New York where it's freezing cold. That's going to be in Miami, Florida in January.
Where it's freezing cold.
It's an outdoor event.
Yeah.
It's ice hockey.
Well, I guess if you might as well adapt to the climate.
People
right?
won't go out of their houses in Florida at 40 degrees. Do you think they're going to go out in Florida, in Miami, to watch a hockey game in 70-degree temperatures where there's nowhere for ice to form?
Here's the difference between people who live up north and people who go and visit Florida, or people who live down in Florida. And then, like, when somebody from up north goes and visits Florida, because I did this for many years with my mother living down there years ago, we'd go down there, and sometimes it would be, like, in the 40s. But I'd be wearing shorts, walking out in the neighborhood, and all the neighbors would be in, like, winter coats, because it's a different kind of cold. It's not... It almost, even if it's 40 degrees outside, the tropical 40 degrees is not the same as the northern 40 degrees.
Right.
Yeah.
But even a polar vortex in Miami.
I know, that's pretty bad.
When you're dealing with 50 to 45 degree temperatures.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if you have to wear extra sweaters. I don't know if you have to, layer. I don't know if authorities are telling you don't drink alcohol because you might freeze to death in the big giant snowbanks.
Yeah. I think we're going to have to invest in frozen orange juice with the orange crops this year. Probably not seeing a good year. We've referenced this movie like 6 times this week.
I know. I don't know. We hardly ever reference it, and now this week we've done it a million times.
Because I just watched it in full the other day, the Trading Places. And it's a very funny film. It really is. The way they used to write those movies, they don't write them like that anymore.
No, they don't. They don't.
But I was surprised at how many things they couldn't get away with today. Like Dan Aykroyd wearing blackface and just.
But he was an exchange student from Cameroon.
But the racial connotations that Don Amici was spouting.
There is one line, I believe, in the men's room where he said, "Do you think we would have Eddie Murphy running our business?"
Yeah, right. So it's a good classic film.
It was a classic, but nevertheless, I mean, when we were in Florida, over break, we're not wearing jackets. We're wearing like T-shirts. I got some. It's night out. So I'm wearing like long pants, but I'm basically wearing a T-shirt. And there's all these people walking around in like real heavy coats, going to the Publix just in case there's some sort of whiteout that happens.
Well, you never know down that tropical way. Even in Atlanta, it was like 75 degrees for the first couple of days we were there, and then by New Year's Day, it was down into the 30s. So it was like this extreme temperature drop 40 degrees within a day.
Now, why don't they schedule the Winter Classic in Atlanta? We're sure the Thrashers would be happy to host.
They have indoor arenas in Atlanta. I don't know why.
Yeah, which is crazy because the Winter Classic is an outdoor event. That's the whole point of having it.
Yeah, I don't understand how these people figure out what events to have and where to have them and whatnot.
Be like trying to schedule like the Polar Plunge in Orlando. Who's doing that?
I would.
I would too.
That would be something I would join.
I wouldn't do it up here if you pay me $1 million, but I'll do it for free in Florida. Sure.
Although the water's still going to be cold.
Yeah, but it's what it's like cold water in Florida is what, like
50.
70 degrees, 65 degrees
in the winter, probably 50 to 60, depending on where you are.
Please.
Yeah, people don't realize how north. Like Jacksonville is, and Orlando's like in the middle of the state.
Yeah.
The real tropical weather doesn't really happen, unless you're on the West Coast, in the Gulf of Mexico or whatever.
Whatever it's called this week.
Oh, I heard a good one yesterday. Because they want to change the name to the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America.
Yeah.
They also want to take over the Panama Anal.
No, Steve, it's the Panama Canal.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Panama Anal. I don't care what these politicians say. They say stupid things all the time, and they call it canals. It's Panama Anal.
No, it is the Panama Canal. Because it's named after the country of Panama.
I think David Lee Roth saying Panama Anal.
No, he's not saying that at all.
Are you sure?
I'll call up genius.com and read the lyrics right to you.
Has anybody ever been through your Panama Anal? It connects two giant gaping oceans.
and there's an easy pass through.
Yes. It's called the Panama Anal.
Not quite.
Yeah.
It's 6:22 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Sitting at your
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock at 6:29, and AC/DC with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Dan Brown should have the full forecast for you.
Oh, that's good to know.
Uh-huh.
And like I told you that Scott Zolak will be joining us after 8 o'clock. There's so much to talk to him about.
Is that the joke of the day, or is
No,
that...
it is not, no.
Do you want to hear a joke?
Yeah, let's hear a joke.
All right, let's laugh.
It's Bax and Nagle's Joke of the Day
I'm funny how? I mean funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you.
on Rock 102,
I make you laugh.
Springfield's Classic Rock.
A wife got so mad at her husband, she packed his bags and told him to get out! Get out! And as he walked to the door, she goes, I hope you die a long, slow, painful death.
Jesus.
And he turns around and he goes, so you want me to stay? Because dying would be staying with her, a long, slow, painful death.
Oh, yeah.
Bax and Nagle in the morning on Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock.
Here's your West.
6:32 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's time for news. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
Thanks, Bax. 4 people were injured after a serious 2-car crash on Route 5 and 10 in Franklin County on Wednesday. Deerfield Police Chief John Pekorzik Jr. said that the emergency crews were called to Routes 5 and 10 near the Whately Town line around 5:45 a.m. for a 2-car head-on crash. 4 people, including a 9-year-old boy, were taken to Bay State Medical Center in Springfield with what Pekorzik described as major trauma. He added that one passenger was a woman who was over 7 months pregnant, and she's being evaluated for an emergency birthing process. Routes 5 and 10 were closed for several hours while emergency crews were on scene, but the road reopened around 9:40 a.m. The cause of the crash remains under investigation by the Deerfield Police, the Northwestern DA's office, and the Mass State Police Collision and Analyst Section, which is also an acronym CARS, which is kind of neat.
Interesting.
Well, I'm just trying to get the happy part of the story. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, look, not happy, but
Well, hopefully this lady and her baby will be okay.
Yeah, I do too. I'm just saying, you hear this horrible, horrible story, and you're like, oh wow, an acronym that spells out CARS.
Yes. Yeah, it's clever. They must have spent hours trying to workshop that.
This is my new approach to news. The hey, look, keys. So you don't have to you don't have to focus on the horrible, tragic part of it.
Yeah, you look for the silver lining. It's a good approach to news.
A pedestrian is dead following a crash on Tuesday in East Hampton. Lori Loisel for the Northwestern District Attorney's Office said that a vehicle driven by a 39-year-old Westfield man was heading southbound along Route 10 towards Southampton when it struck a 72-year-old man from East Hampton. The pedestrian then died from his injuries. The driver reportedly stayed at the scene and was cooperative with investigators. Route 10 was closed for a time between South Street and Coleman Road while emergency crews remained on scene. The incident remains under investigation. A body that was found inside Forest Park in Springfield is being investigated as a potential homicide. What is with this news?
A downer of a news day, huh?
Well, remember I said this to you the other day that there was no news on Monday, and then by Wednesday or Thursday, it's like the news drop happens.
I know.
And we get there. Elijah Ayre, spokesman for the Hamden DA's office, said that Springfield police officers were called around 5 p.m. Tuesday to a report of a body found on Trafton Road. When police arrived, they located a woman's body in the Camp Star Angelina area of Forest Park, which is not far from residential homes. Well, that's kind of a silly thing to say because the entire park is surrounded by residential homes.
It's true.
When Western Mass News spent the afternoon in Forest Park, where they caught up with one man who wished to remain anonymous, he said that he usually walks around Forest Park about once or twice a week, and he shared his reaction. Shocking for around Forest Park. I wouldn't expect that here. They have a lot of police activity, so I'm very surprised. Ayres added that the case remains under investigation by the DA's office in conjunction with the Springfield Police Homicide Unit. Westfield, there's stuff going on out there.
Bad
too.
stuff in Westfield, too?
Well, this isn't as nearly as bad as any of the other ones. This is a continuation of yesterday's story. They're trying to find those people who robbed all the UPS packages from Lansdowne Place.
Oh, yeah, right.
The two were reportedly hanging out in the Lansdowne apartment lobby with no evidence of residency. While there was a UPS drop-off, and the two suspects appeared to take some of the packages. What do you think gave away the fact that they didn't live there, that they weren't 55 and over?
Maybe that might have. I mean, I don't know that particular building, so it's
behind the Rockies in Westfield.
Okay. Yeah.
It originally, I think it was apartments it was always apartments. And then Westfield State bought it.
Gotcha.
And then they sold it. I don't know if they sold it or whatever, but I think it's like an elderly housing complex.
I know that. I mean, I lived in that neighborhood, so I mean, I kind of know it, but I didn't realize the name didn't stick with me.
In developing news, Power School, a popular platform for school districts to keep track of student records and communication with families, has been hit by a cyber attack. We should ban Power School now from the country.
Is the Chinese government involved in this?
See, that's what nobody knows. This is what I was talking about yesterday about banning TikTok, because maybe the possibility of nefarious practices done by the Chinese government. But I don't know what kind of information the Chinese government's going to get out of me.
Probably not, and they're probably not going to get a lot out of an elementary school.
Look at the things he looks at by himself.
I mean, what is the Chinese government going to learn breaking into like an elementary school system?
Well,
like how to do simple math equations?
But here's
they're going to learn color time.
An example of things like you don't even know where these hackers are from. That's the whole idea of being a hacker, is that you hack into things and you take information and you sell them, but you don't know if it's just some kid sitting in his mom's basement who got the idea to do this, or if it's some kind of major hacking network overseas.
It's hard to tell, Steve, but you know what? I think we're going to need to ban all of this stuff.
Do you think everybody's Social Security number has been exposed at some point?
Well, I stopped reciting it on the air years ago when I was told that wasn't such a good idea.
Well, what was it?
915-25-9678.
You remember that guy with the LifeLock?
Yes.
He had all those ads on the side of buses and billboards that had, "Yeah, I'm so trustworthy of this. Here's my Social Security number." And then somebody hacked the guy.
It's like he's asking for it.
Well, because nothing is foolproof. You can put as many protections on something as you want, but there's always somebody who's going to be one step ahead of everything and hacking into those things. So I don't know. It just seems, but it just seems like nobody really takes these things seriously.
Yeah. By the way, that's not my actual Social Security number. I made that up. So if you're looking to hack into my systems,
Right.
You're not going to do it that way.
You were born in Massachusetts. It's 015.
Right.
Sources say the information.
But I'm older, so I didn't I didn't go up to the 15s.
Oh, you didn't go.
No, I'm way earlier.
Sources say the information exposed was primarily contact information like names and addresses, but some districts may have included Social Security numbers, medical information, and more personally identifiable information in their data. The cyber attack is being felt close to home as well, with several school districts in our area relying on PowerSchool as part of their daily operations. Parents in the Agawam School District received a letter on Wednesday evening discussing the breach, saying in part, "At this time, PowerSchool has indicated this is a nationwide issue, but we are waiting on further clarification at the extent of local impact. PowerSchool has assured its customers that the incident has been contained and there's no evidence of continued unauthorized activity." Well, that doesn't mean that pertinent information wasn't sold. While limited information is currently available, we do not have any evidence to believe that Social Security numbers were part of the security breach. But again, they don't know. So
No, could be other things too.
I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking. But there you go.
All right. Well, keep myself protected.
Did you ever find a package ticking in a Wendy's parking lot?
Not at a Wendy's.
Yeah, that's more of a Bojangles type thing. We don't have one around here, though.
No, we don't.
A man was arrested after police found a suspicious vehicle with items inside, quote, ticking and beeping in the parking lot of a Wendy's in East Windsor. In a news release from East Windsor Police Deputy Chief Benjamin Murphy, at around 3 a.m. Wednesday, an officer saw a vehicle parked behind Wendy's on Prospect Hill Road in East Windsor. Since no cars should be parked on the property when the restaurant is closed, the officer approached the vehicle with the windows covered by several panels and sheets. A man inside the vehicle refused to provide the officer with any identification and he said he was not breaking any laws. Police say he was verbally aggressive, claiming the police were messing with the wrong guy.
I don't know what's going on here at this particular Wendy's location. I know I once had an explosive situation after going to the Super Bar where I got a Baconator and the chili.
And that he was live on social media. The man was physically removed from the vehicle and placed under arrest after the officer made several efforts for the driver to identify himself. Several wrapped items that police say were ticking and beeping were discovered inside the vehicle during an inventory check. When the officer asked the suspect about their contents, he refused to say what it was in them and began screaming, "Just open them, you'll find out." The Connecticut State Police Bomb Squad was called in to assess the packages after the man started to discuss the recent incident in which a Tesla Cybertruck was intentionally blown up in Las Vegas. Several roads in the area were shut down with the assistance of Warehouse Point Fire Department. As state police investigated, the items were deemed safe and the area has since reopened. The man was identified as 38-year-old Timothy Phelan and was charged with simple trespass, interfering with an officer, and breach of peace in the first degree.
All right. Keep your problems out of the Wendy's parking lot.
I see these videos on TikTok with these idiots who drive up to a checkpoint, like a sobriety checkpoint.
Sure.
And then they just, "Am I free to go? Am I free to go? Am I free to leave?"
Their license is in a Ziploc bag.
Yeah, and it's like, first of all, I don't agree with those things anyway, the random road check things.
Sure.
But the cop's not responsible for that. He's just out there doing his job.
Yeah, and he's selecting randos to pull over. That's it.
And then when you start bringing attention to yourself like that, and don't get me wrong, I believe there are certain instances where people's rights have been violated.
Sure.
But that's not...
Especially the drunk ones.
But most of the time, they're just doing what they should be doing. And when you pull somebody over and the guy's like, "Am I free to leave? Am I being detained? Am I being detained?"
But there is a certain personality type that always tries to get themselves out of things by pretending they know more about the law than a police officer does.
"I don't have to answer your questions. I don't.
Am I being arrested here?
What's going on?"
I would never mouth off to a cop.
No, but I mean, like, again, I've seen instances. I remember that guy walking, I don't even know what state that was in. He was walking down the street, and he was blind. He was legally blind, and he had the walking cane thing, but it's a collapsible thing. And he put it in his back pocket, and then the cop stops him, and it is just, they're just overly, unnecessarily harassing this guy.
The blind guy.
Just walking down the street.
Mm-hmm.
And then, if I was him, I'd probably give him the attitude, too, going, what are you talking about? I'm just walking down the street. Yeah, but you put something in your back pocket that was collapsed.
What, I think is some sort of weapon.
Yeah, but those are just, I think that's where the perception comes in that all of these cops are like that, and I don't think that's the case. That's not the case at all. I mean, I think most cops just want to do their shift and go home. You see, most of these guys are probably sleeping on the side of the highway, if you're asking me.
Cops being a cop is kind of a boring job.
Yeah. And,
unless there's a good crime going on.
This is probably a good time to go speeding right now, because which cop wants to get out in 50-mile-an-hour wind gust?
We got a really cold day. If it's like below zero, that's the time to speed. No cop wants to get out of his car for that.
Think about that. If you were doing a job like that, I saw one directing traffic yesterday.
Yeah.
And he was getting in and out of the car. He wasn't because who wants to stand out there when the wind gusts are going like that?
I always feel bad for people who have to work outside in wicked cold temperatures. Like this week, our ramp, our ADA accessible ramp was no longer accessible.
I saw those people working out there yesterday.
And there's these two guys that they were, because you can try to imagine.
There's a girl out there too. She's out there.
Yeah, the two of them. They were trying to put it back together because it was separating and not safe, not just for wheelchairs, but for any level of weight on these things. And they're pulling it all together. And it's freezing cold. And as I'm walking away with my blazing hot coffee mug, and I'm like, boy, I wish I had the wherewithal or constitution to offer some help to these people. But I'm rushing to my car.
I wish I had warmed my car up before I walked down here. You know how hard it is to get into the side of a cold car?
It's so uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's really uncomfortable. Meanwhile, these people got windburn on their face from being out there. I really enjoy the crime scene tape that we had up there to stay away from the ramp.
Well, it needed caution tape because there's going to be someone going to go up that ramp.
I can't believe how rotted that got before somebody finally took action on it.
There's lots of things about this building that you would say, I can't believe they still operate this way.
Well, I think it was a couple of weeks ago when I walked upstairs and I said, it smells really good up here. Who's wearing that perfume? And then it was revealed to me that, no, that's just the Glade air fresheners trying to tamp down the smell of mold and rotting mice that are upstairs in the building. Oh, well, it smells good. Which one is that? I like to put that in my home.
We certainly are the crown jewel of local broadcasting.
Your Pioneer Valley forecast today, wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour. That apparently is going to last until tomorrow morning at 1 a.m., which I was mistaken about that yesterday. 27 for a high. Tomorrow, 35 for a high. It is 21 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah.
It's 6:50 with Bax and Nagle and Rock 102.
I just gave you the forecast. We don't need to do that again.
Nobody hears it. Nobody hears, unless you're in California, no one needs to hear it again.
I think it's kind of silly that we do the forecast every time we come back from something because, frankly, I'm wrong most of the time. And that's not
so are professionals.
Right, but why do we even bother? I mean, just let Dan Brown do it the once an hour and let it be okay with that.
Yeah, but not everybody's listening for the full hour, Steve. We got a whole new audience from just 15 minutes ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that how this thing works?
That's how it's been explained to me.
Yeah. Well,
people are in their cars, 15 minutes, getting to work. That's it.
Who explained that to you?
Some idiot.
Top men?
Top idiots. Hey, real quick, this week on Baxy's Musical Podcast, my guest has been Cyril Jordan from the band The Flamin' Groovies. This is a wildly inspirational band that's influenced everybody from the Rolling Stones to Cheap Trick to many, many others. Great interview with Cyril. They got a brand new live album that's out now called Let It Rock, live from the San Francisco Civic Center, 1980. Next week, my guest is Brian James from The Damned. amazing interview with a real rock legend. Also play with the Lords of the New Church with the late Stiv Bators. You'll be able to hear that on Monday on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, the Rock 102 YouTube channel, rock102.com, as well as the Rock 102 app. And it's all brought to you by Metro Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram at Chicopee, and Rock 102 Springfield's Classic Rock.
How do you take your coffee?
A little bit of milk.
Yeah, well, we're not talking about that. A new study, a new survey. Actually, it's a study. It's not a survey. A new study found that drinking it in the morning could help you live longer, but if you keep drinking it all day, maybe not. Scientists tracked people's health for 10 years and split them into 3 categories. People who only drank coffee in the morning, people who drank it all day, and people who didn't drink it at all. The morning coffee drinkers had a 16% lower risk of dying for any reason, and 31% lower risk of dying from heart disease compared to the non-coffee group. The doctor on the lead study, Dr. Juan Valdez.
Shut up.
No, I'm just kidding. We're talking about those alcohol surveys funded by, like, Jim Beam.
Yeah,
you know.
Dr. Crystal Folgers.
Right.
I used to drink a lot of coffee throughout the day. Like, it was the only thing I was drinking for years. And, I had my coffee in the morning. Then, like, around 2 o'clock, I'd go to the coffee shop, get myself a coffee. And then maybe when I came home after picking up the kids at school, I'd knock down another cup. Now, I can't do that. I only drink in the morning and never after 12.
Well, and it says the benefits disappeared for people who drank all day, so having your last cup of coffee before noon could save your life. I'm exactly that way, too. I used to drink it all day long, up until 3 or 4 in the afternoon. You don't realize how much that affects your sleep, especially in a job like this where you're trying to get to bed, at an early hour.
Well, my excuse was it didn't really matter how much I drank because I was always so sleep deprived. I could drink it without being affected. But the reality is that's not true at all. It was affecting other parts of my body. And my body is a temple, Steve.
What do you mean other parts of your body?
The good parts, intestinal. Parts of my body.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like ED or something.
No. That's caused by much other things.
You never had Ed before?
I don't know who this Ed guy is, but I hear he's very nice.
But the moderate coffee drinkers saw the biggest benefits. They defined moderate as 2 to 3 cups each morning. The benefits dropped by half for people who drank more than that. They're not sure why drinking it later in the day makes a difference. The best guess is it messes with your sleep. Since we're on the topic of coffee, I think we really should bring back those sexist coffee commercials from the 1960s, where the stay-at-home wife is making coffee every morning, and the guy, I'm gonna wait till the office, honey. My secretary makes it better than you do, and then she gets offended. And then he takes the cup of coffee and he throws it on the flowers. And she's like, "You'll kill the petunias." And he goes, "So you admit that your coffee is horrible and deadly?"
My wife has been cleaning the house all damn day, and yet has never figured out how to make a decent cup of coffee.
Yeah. And then she goes to the grocer. Remember when the grocer had the lab coat on? And would help the ladies throughout the store?
I don't know what to do. Yeah. My husband says that my coffee is terrible. Yeah. That he has to drink it by the slice.
So then he does the taste the mountain. The whole peek over her head, and then of course. She makes the coffee, and then the husband, he's like, all of a sudden, he's got some pep in his step again.
That's right, because he's got a chock full of nuts.
Yes. Did you ever have a chock full of nuts? Only after I drank Folgers.
Oh, it sure gives me all the boost I need. Having a chock full of nuts.
Another sexist video I saw the other day was a clip of the old Looney Tunes cartoons, or I think it was probably Looney Tunes, but it was like about driving. Did you ever see that one?
I don't know. What was it?
Well, and so then they're showing the rear of a car and a man driving the car, and it says, "Well, here's a new invention." Here's a new invention. It's men, or it's a directional signal that works with your hands. So, like when you stick your hand out the window, then the man goes turning left, and then the directional signal. It's like a little computer screen on the back of the guy's car showing turning left, and then he's a turning right, stop. And then they show, and it also works for women drivers too. And then she's like, left, right, left, right. And then the thing is moving all back and forth. And then they also had a garage that works for your wife, where the entire garage lifts up in the air so she can park in the space without
she won't actually hit the side of it?
hitting the side of the
Yeah,
garage.
boy, yes.
Man, let's bring back the good old days.
It's 6:56 on Rock 102.
This is View from the Couch, brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, Winter Storm Headquarters, before and after the storm.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Folks, while the Patriots are courteously conducting sham interviews with potential head coaching candidates who are not named Mike Vrabel, the rest of the league is still trying to fill all the other vacant head coaching positions throughout the league. Yesterday, I told you there are currently 6 head coaching jobs that are open, including the Patriots, Bears, Raiders, Jaguars, and Jets. I think most people can agree that the Patriots are probably going to select Mike Vrabel no matter who else is available, but the other open positions are not so clearly predetermined. Among those jobs is with the Las Vegas Raiders, who recently fired their head coach Antonio Pierce after finishing up the season with a record of 4 wins and 13 losses. Yesterday is reported that Tom Brady, who owns a minority stake in the team, has already reached out to former Patriots head coach Bill Belichick to gauge his interest in not only coming back to the NFL, but also to figure out what it would take for him to agree to coach the Raiders. Now, Bill Belichick just recently accepted a head coaching job with the North Carolina Tar Heels, claiming he's not leaving North Carolina for a return to the NFL. After all, he just got a transfer commitment from Lyman Price Yates out of UConn. Trust me, he ain't going anywhere. I mean, who do you think Bill Belichick is? The sort of guy who accepts a job, immediately interviews for another job after accepting the first job, and then leaves that job the next day to take another one? I mean, do you really think Bill Belichick is capable of that sort of thing? Oh, yeah, I forgot. That's how he got the job with the Patriots. Listen, folks, I don't know how long Bill Belichick is going to want to stick around at the college level, but I can tell you this. Just because Tom Brady has got the guy on speed dial doesn't mean that Bill Belichick is going to bolt North Carolina for a chance to start working for one of the worst organizations in football. If that's something he really wanted to do, he would never have left the Jets 25 years ago to start working for the Patriots again. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. What do you know about snow throwers? You need to talk to Keith at the East Long Meadow Rockies. Keith is an expert selling and servicing Aaron's throwers and Eagle battery-powered snow throwers. Good people like Keith and rock-solid service at every Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch. Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 7:09. And Bruce Springsteen with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
It's going to be still windy today. Wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour. High at 27 today. Tomorrow, high at 35. It's 21 right now in downtown Springfield. You know, I don't even watch regular TV anymore. Do you?
Not really.
Does anybody really? I mean, the viewership must be way down than it used to be.
Well, I mean, you know, it depends because, you know, so many shows that are on regular TV are being streamed at the same time. So what's to say where you're getting it or what platform?
You know, I was trying to watch some Family Guy episodes last night, and they stopped back in like November.
Really?
Putting them on Hulu. I guess they're trying to revamp the format and do it more of a streaming thing than they are on regular TV. Because again, I don't think a lot of people are watching regular network television much anymore.
I couldn't even tell you what the top shows are on like NBC anymore. Don't even know.
I don't even know how these late night TV shows survive.
You want to know the reason how they survive? This is crazy, but this is what we've really been reduced down to. They survive on TikTok and Instagram Reels.
Yeah, I guess you're right. With that's digital, you know.
That's how they do it. That's like, for example, there are more people watching clips of Saturday Night Live on YouTube than there are people who are actually watching it live on NBC.
So is the revenue coming from YouTube then? Because if you're not, you know, you're sitting down watching, like, I don't know, Jimmy Fallon or Stephen Colbert or something, you're seeing commercials during that time of people who pay money for people to see that. But those commercials aren't being seen, so as an advertiser, what benefit is to you if nobody's watching TV?
Then you put your spots in front of Saturday Night Live clips.
I guess so. I never got into these reality shows or anything. I think once I started having kids, I stopped watching television regularly.
See, I can't get enough reality TV.
Well, a young woman from Massachusetts is hoping to find her soulmate on a popular dating reality show. 28-year-old Juliana Packard, whatever the hell her name is one among 25 contestants on the next season of The Bachelor. These shows are so stupid, too.
What are you talking about?
And then
These shows are about love and about connection.
She wrote on an Instagram post on Tuesday, when your big sis signs you up for hashtag The Bachelor and doesn't tell you, here goes nothing. I don't believe that for a second. You are so full of shiznit that you're saying that your sister signed you up, didn't tell you, and then all of a sudden you're like, yeah, what the hell, why not?
You know, if my sister signed me up for something like this, and she would never do that, but if she did, what would happen next would not me be agreeing to go onto the show. It would be me giving my sister a real piece of my mind.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd be very angry at my sister.
That would be a reality show.
Yeah. Right.
You sign your siblings signing you up for things you didn't ask for, like credit card applications and reality TV shows. Pacarosa, I don't even know how to say her name. Her name is Juliana. How about that? I'll just go with that. A client service associate is a, quote, bubbly, outgoing woman who isn't afraid to speak her mind and go after what her heart wants, her Bachelor biography reads. Some fun facts about Juliana are that she wants to own a dog-friendly bar one day, was raised on Frank Sinatra's music, and isn't afraid of heights. She also comes from a big Italian family and aspires to find love like her parents, who were high school sweethearts. Whether it's dancing with friends, going out to museums and sporting events, or hanging out and watching a movie, Juliana has a good time wherever she goes, her biography continues. Mm-hmm. She hopes to meet a man who has a good heart, strong ambition, and loves to hang out with family.
And what better way is there to do that, to find that special guy, than on The Bachelor?
Yeah, I don't think so. I really think that these people are just doing this for like self-loathing purposes.
You think so? You don't think they're there to find love, to spark some sort of love connection?
No, because it doesn't take much to be a celebrity anymore. With everybody on TikTok and Instagram and people, reality TV shows who are taking the best people that can speak on camera. They vet those people so well that you're not getting the schlub.
Are you telling me that if I'm watching the Real Housewives of pick any city in America, that they're picking people based on how they look and how they speak rather than they're just folks around the neighborhood?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Well, I find that very hard to believe.
And that man for her could be Grant Ellis, this season's star of The Bachelor, who's a fine-looking young snack. Mm-hmm. Ellis, a 31-year-old day trader from New Jersey, was a competitor on Jen Tran's season of The Bachelorette. Now he's getting a second chance of finding love. You see, he's already on a reality show. It didn't work out for him then. What's to say it's going to work out for you the second time around?
Well, now he really means it. Now he's ready to commit.
A self-proclaimed mama's boy, Ellis's infectious smile and unwavering positivity instantly brightens every room he enters.
Oh, yeah.
The former pro basketball player is passionate about his career as a day trader, but when he's not immersed in the fast-paced world of finance, you can find him cheering on the Lakers, hitting strikes at the bowling alley, or belting out tunes at karaoke nights.
No, that's all going to end when you find the right woman.
As The Bachelor, Ellis is eager to embark on a journey filled with romance, adventure, and genuine connections. He hopes to find a partner who shares his values of loyalty, humor, and deep appreciation of life's simple pleasures. These people are so fake.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, listen, it's so hard to find real love. But on the other hand, boy, this guy seems like he's got it all, doesn't it?
You want a reality show? How about a guy who sits on his couch and puts his hands down his pants under the blanket to shift the boys around a little bit while he's watching a show like The Bachelor?
Yes.
A
guy who's like sitting around in his underpants all day, watching football.
Yeah.
Eating chips while he's on the toilet, that kind of thing.
Eating chips and doing things to himself. He's feeding bologna to the Smurfs again. Look at him. Look at him go.
He is a true American young man.
How many bathroom trips is he going to take today?
30, 40, whatever it takes to finish.
He must have read through that entire Uncle John's bathroom reader.
He's not
the whole time.
He's not reading the bathroom reader. He's taking his phone in there.
Yeah,
swiping right.
I don't believe in any of these TV shows. They're all That's what the misconception is. People believe these are all reality when they're basically staged. These people are led into situations to make drama for the show.
Here's why I think this is so stupid and fake. I'm looking at the list. So there's a list of 25 women, okay, that are going to be trying to compete for this guy's attention, okay? An attorney, a venture capitalist, a PhD student, a pediatrician, a pediatric behavior analyst, another attorney, a registered nurse, an associate media director, and a wedding planner. You stay the hell away from that one.
The wedding planner?
Yeah, I mean, I would think that if you looked like any one of these people and you had, say, like a career that seemed to be really moving you forward,
yeah,
the last thing that you'd really want to do is bastardize your romantic relationship by appearing on a reality TV show that makes you look like, how shall I put this, a superficial skank.
Yeah, what is the success rate of these people who go on these television shows?
Probably preposterously low.
Like probably 20%, I would say.
Well, he's got to narrow it down from a list of 25 to 1, and I don't know how long those relationships last. But if you know the average dude had this to choose from, I mean, like if it were actual reality, this guy would be striking out with all 25 women because that's what happens in life.
What was that other show, 90 Day Fiancé?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Again, with these, how stupid is that? You're gonna plan your whole life out in 3 months, meeting somebody and going, I think this is the one.
Well, the show gets worse because it's not just that. Now they go back and they check to see how these relationships are doing, and then some of them go back to check out what their new relationships were like after those first relationships failed.
Yeah.
And it's like, listen, these people are predominantly undateable, regardless of what their country of origin may be.
Well, people who get into relationships, I mean, once you get past that like honeymoon phase, then you start realizing, and that takes longer than 90 days.
Oh, yeah.
Once you get past that, then you start realizing, well, this is the uncleanly habits that bug the crap out of me about this guy or girl.
Plus, there are major culture differences between these people too. Well, I thank God every day I never had to go through a reality TV show to meet my wife.
No, you chose reality.
Yeah, I chose it. Yeah, I chose reality instead of reality.
But I mean, can you imagine this guy like showing up and meeting this gal from Newton? Hey, how are ya? I'm looking for the love of my life.
You're a wicked snack.
Yeah, I don't got no time for drama, but I'll give you my honest opinion whenever you don't ask for it.
What kind of car do you drive?
Listen, I'm just here for the lobster rolls and somebody to poke around in the squish mitten every once in a while.
Why don't you be a real man and take me out to supper?
You know what they should do? They should put Karen Reed on one of these reality shows. See if she can find her next love of her life.
Tell me a little bit about yourself, Karen. Well, you're not going to believe this.
I like drinking Jägermeister and long drives at night.
But what I really like is having a hung jury.
That's the only thing hung I like on a man.
I see a hung jury and I get wicked hot.
You ever want to go to a real Southie bar and get really cranked up before I drop you off at a party out in the middle of nowhere in a snowstorm? What's that broken glass next to you? Did I hit that bastard?
I don't think I hit him. Did I hit him? I don't know if I hit him.
See, now that's a Karen Reed 90-Day Fiancé story that nobody wants to see the end to.
But watch this.
Yeah.
If she gets exonerated this time, she will be a reality TV star.
And she will live happily ever after, like a Disney princess. Fueled by Jägermeister and a bad DMV report.
I'm popular. Popular.
By the way, can you drive? I lost my license for the next 10 years.
It's 7:21 at Rock 102.
3 words that taste
Company with Bax and Nagle at Rock 102.
I'd tell you the weather, but it's really not my job. It's more of a Dan Brown kind of thing. So I'm going to let him do it.
That's probably a better choice, actually. Hey, you're going to be at Camping World, the West Hatfield, on Saturday with the Rock 102 Road Crew. The New Year RV Showcase is here. Head to Camping World in West Hatfield for fun, food, and special New Year pricing. Some of the best selection of new and used RVs starting at $92 a month. That's right, only $92 a month. They're a lot more affordable than you might think. Plus, you can enter to win a new RV. I would love to win a new RV, but I am not eligible. Stop by the Rock 102 table, say hi to Steve and the road crew, win a nice prize. It's Saturday, noon to 2 at Camping World West Hatfield, 188 West Street, Route 5 in West Hatfield from Rock 102, Springfield's classic rock.
That'll be a good time.
Yeah, it is a cool time.
Mm-hmm.
Got some beautiful things in that lot.
Yeah, there is. By the way, I had several people reach out to me the other day because I said I was thinking about wanting one of these, but I don't want one of these until I'm ready to retire. I want to drive across the country kind of thing, but that's not something I can do right now.
No,
but I had several offers going, hey, are you serious about that? I got to, and then people are telling me what they got that they want to get rid of. I'm not particularly interested at this time.
You want one that you want a model that's you can drive.
Yeah, besides,
not one to tow, one to actually drive.
And matter of fact, that's the best part about going up to this event on Saturday is you can check out all that they have to offer up there.
Mm-hmm. New and used. We bought a used one from there a couple of years ago. Still love it.
Well, there you go.
Great way to vacation.
There you go.
We got news next to Rock 102.
Here's your Western Mass News first.
It's 7:32 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's time for news brought to you by 413 Pro Tint. For tinting in your vehicle, home, or business, call 413 Pro Tint in Springfield today. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
Thanks, Bax. A fast-moving fire broke out in the hills above Hollywood Boulevard and threatened some of the most popular L.A. tourist spots as firefighters battled to get control on two other major blazes that killed 5 people, put 130,000 people under evacuation orders, and ravaged communities from the Pacific Coast to inland Pasadena. The Sunset Fire started around 5:45 p.m. on Wednesday as officials were holding a news conference to update residents on efforts to fight massive blazes in the Pacific Palisades and Altadena and warned that the fire danger remained high. The L.A. Fire Department Chief Kristen Crowley made a hasty exit after announcing the new fire and soon after an evacuation order was issued. The Hollywood Walk of Fame was bustling, and the streets around the TCL Chinese Theater and Madame Tussauds were packed with nonstop and go traffic as sirens blared and low-flying these people, whatever.
Well, thank good the wax figures are still together. Yesterday when you were telling me that the fire was moving at a rate of 3 football fields per hour.
Hey, it's 60 miles an hour wind.
Yeah, and the more I thought about that, and I don't know jack squat about how to fight a fire, even a small one, but when it comes to something like that, I don't know how you even begin to fight it. If it's moving at that rate with the winds as high as they are.
Yeah.
I mean, how much can they realistically expect to douse this fire? It just seems at this point almost overwhelmingly large.
One of the cool videos I saw was one of those tankers, the flying tankers, and it obviously tamped down the flames. It didn't put the fire out, but you could see it. It was at nighttime, and the thing drops the plane full of water on the thing, and then this whole giant area just kind of gets extinguished. But again, it's not. You're only seeing it from the air, so
right.
All the embers and stuff are still burning there, which could reignite.
Right, and we talked about that when we were having the red flag warnings just a couple of weeks ago, where just because you think a fire is out doesn't mean that it's not burning deep within itself.
And then we got a text from a listener yesterday that said, "Let that crap hole burn."
Yeah, but that's good. That's good.
Because people have these, they don't realize that they're, actual human beings. And yes, unfortunately, the media focuses all on the celebrities that live there, but there are people who live and work in that area.
Who are not celebrities and losing everything they have.
Yeah. But that's okay.
Well, as long as that one hostile guy is satiated, I think that's all that really matters.
Let's go to Connecticut. Connecticut always seems to have the more salacious stories going on, don't they?
They sure do.
Yeah. A year-long investigation into the Old Saybrook Police Department revealed an unpleasant work environment. A report cited that as the reason officers left at a high rate. Thursday, the findings were set to be laid out during a public meeting. Last year, the town overwhelmingly voted to use tax dollars to fund independent investigation. It wanted to know why its officers were leaving. Now it knows the answer. Since 2009, when old Saybrook Police Chief Michael Spira took over the department, around 54 staffers either resigned, retired, or were terminated. You imagine being not liked so much that everybody leaves?
I have seen it happen, but I was not the source of the hatred.
It was why, over the last year, investigators with the Police Executive Research Forum, also known as PERF, wasn't that those balls he used to play with in the 80s?
No, Steve. You're thinking of Nerf.
Interviewed more than 70 people. PERF wanted to know why so many people left. No. That's the stuff you put in your hair.
No, Steve. You're thinking of PERT.
Yeah. Spira expressed concerns and told the town that officers left for better pay and benefits. According to PERF, however, the money wasn't why most officers said they left. The investigation found that instead it was because of the unpleasant work environment. In an interview after interview, employees described an unhealthy work environment filled with stress and paranoia, said Old Saybrook First Selectman Carl Fortuna. Investigators said that officers complained of excessive overtime, double standards for officers and leaders, as well as a fear of retaliation. This is a report what was overwhelmingly supported by public, and rather than now operate by rumor or innuendo, our residents are now fully informed of recommendations for an independent consultant, yada, yada, yada. The report also included 31 recommendations for improvements. Spirit told Channel 3 that he reviewed the report and awaited the presentation for Thursday night. It would be premature to make any other comment about their work prior to the conclusion of PERF's contractual obligation to the citizens of Saybrook. Everybody hates this guy, sure. But is it a reason to quit?
I want to sit and wait for the recommendations of what a lousy job I'm doing and then take action.
Well, there's been worse bosses in this world.
Oh, there have.
Have you ever celebrated the leaving of somebody? I have.
Why, in fact, I have. And I have even celebrated the leaving of people who were not in management.
I've danced on the grave of people who weren't even buried yet. A former AT&T employee. A former AT&T employee was arrested for adding unauthorized phone and tablet lines to at least one customer's count for commission. Connecticut State Police identified the suspect as 35-year-old Katie Ann Barnaby of Stafford. Barnaby was charged with a third-degree computer crime, troopers said. According to an arrest warrant for Barnaby, a victim reported to state police in February of 2024 that there was a fraudulent activity on their AT&T account. The victim said they initially bought a Samsung phone, a watch, and accessories from an AT&T store in Stafford Springs in December of 2021. The consultant in the store was Barnaby. Following the purchases, the victim reported that they noticed their monthly bills were higher than what had been discussed with Barnaby. The victim said that AT&T told her that Barnaby had been identified in an internal investigation for similar practices with other customers. The company told the victim that Barnaby added and removed protection plans and features on customer accounts between November of 2021 and January of 2022. The victim reported that they learned 30 different customers were impacted. She was doing this for commission. You know, if you add more services, apparently these people who are their representative get a commission for everything that you sell. The coworker said Barnaby would keep trade-in devices to potentially resell them online. AT&T internal records showed that Barnaby was fired from the Stafford Springs location in July of 2022, but rehired at another AT&T store where she continued to manipulate the customers' accounts. Then that's AT&T's fault. Why would you rehire somebody knowing that she was at least accused of doing something?
I mean, do they not vet their employees, especially the ones that had already worked there?
I don't know.
I mean, honestly.
I don't know.
No one to blame but themselves.
The company's commission payment records for December 2021 and July 2022 showed that Barnaby received $1,150. Barnaby eventually resigned, according to state police. An arrest warrant was approved on January 3rd. She was arrested on January 5th. She faced a judge on January 6th. with a $25,000 bond. Here's where people are confused about the dates.
Yeah.
An arrest warrant was approved on January 3rd of 2025. She was arrested on January 5th. She faced a judge on January 6th, 2024 with a $25,000 bond. How do you face a judge a year before you got arrested?
It may be a typo.
These are the people still writing, who do you say, 2024 on their checks all the time?
Yeah. That's right. I'm still writing 2024 on my checks 13 seconds after New Year's Eve.
After New Year's Eve. Oh, man, I messed up again. Although I was doing that when in the first week. This is the first full week of the year, but with the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm so used to typing whatever the date is to save the file, and I was continually putting 2024, and I was like, would you like to overwrite last year's?
Yeah, I've gotten a couple of emails from people since the first of the year, saying, I'm so excited for 2024. Didn't you just enjoy that about a week ago?
Yeah. Well, I like when people say, just last year. You mean 3 days ago or a week ago? A woman in New York is accusing Arby's of shrinking its portion sizes while keeping prices the same.
They did you a favor.
Someone who spent enough time at Arby's to realize that they're screwing you.
Who's going in there with a ruler?
The New York Post reports that Melissa Nelson filed a lawsuit against the fast food chain claiming that Arby's is deceptively continuing to sell its fries and beverages in smaller sizes without lowering prices or notifying customers.
Well, for the last 50 years, they've also deceptively tried to tell you that there's delicious food inside at Arby's.
Yeah. Well, isn't that a deceptive practice within itself? Lawyers in the lawsuit claim that when Arby's phased out its kid size for fries and drinks, it just changed those to small sizes, with the small size becoming medium and the medium becoming the new large.
That's not right. That is deceptive. But, again, you're going to an Arby's.
What if it's Arby's' secret way of just trying to get people to lose weight? Listen, fatty, you don't need this big giant fry. You only need a medium.
Do you think
We'll
Arby's
call it a large?
Do you think Arby's is really in existence to work on the obesity epidemic?
Well, I mean, it's quality roast beef, Bax.
I love the way it shimmers in the light.
Yeah,
like a rainbow.
Yeah, like fish scales.
Yes.
The lawsuit follows the introduction of the Shrinkflation Prevention Act last year, which treats shrinkflation as an unfair or deceptive practice. According to the new lawsuit obtained, Nelson is seeking to represent customers who purchase French fries and beverages at Arby's when it comes to the change in portion sizes. These are like class action lawsuits. I mean, did they really even do anything? You got like Apple just got sued for Siri was listening to you.
Yeah.
Duh.
I think it totally depends on the class action lawsuit. I've known some people that were involved in them, and they got a good decent settlement.
Yeah, but
I know some people that got like $2.
Well, but that was the whole thing. I'm reading the whole thing. Customers from Apple can expect to receive $95 if you sign up for the claim on the lawsuit. Gee, $95 of 15 years of you listening to all of my conversations. Deal. I'll take it.
Oh, I've been wiped out financially 3 times. $95 seems like a fair deal.
Yeah, and would you really want what Arby's has to offer in a class action suit? We'll give you all the free Arby's you want.
I'll take it. I'll tell you what, if you can give me a lifetime supply of horsey sauce, we got a deal.
Well, they throw that in for free.
Well, they better.
That's everybody out there.
Right.
You know what? That's a good way. This is why places don't leave the condiments out as much anymore, because they know people were taking them. You know, you got to like ask for the stuff behind the counter now wherever you go.
Oh, I know.
They used to have like, I think we went to a Chick-fil-A down in Atlanta, and they used to have all that Chick-fil-A sauce and all that stuff like out. I remember that's how long it's been since I've been in a Chick-fil-A. It was up until this moment.
Right.
And they used to have all that stuff, ketchup and, and they have the bougie ketchup packets at Chick-fil-A, like the dipper ones.
Oh, yeah.
You can either squeeze it or dip it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's a real benefit.
And these Christians really know how to run a fast food restaurant.
They do. If only they could be open on a Sunday.
Now, if
Anyhow.
Yeah, I'm going to stub a pitchfork into your colon as it goes through you. How about that? Your Pioneer
Step aside, Satan. I've got nuggets to order.
Your Pioneer Valley forecast today, mix of sun and clouds with a high of 26, wind gust up to 50 miles an hour. That'll last all the way until tomorrow morning. It's 20 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Aw, yeah.
This just in, hot off the bench press. Planet Fitness has added new strength equipment. Save $28 or more when you join today, and you can be one of the first to try it out. We're raising the bar with new benches.
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock, 750, and Led Zeppelin with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Going to be mix of sun and clouds today with a high of 26, wind gust up to 50 miles an hour. It's 20 right now in downtown Springfield.
Get the let out a celebration of the mighty Led Zeppelin coming to Springfield Symphony Hall on Saturday, January 25th, and Rock 102 wants to send you to that show. All you got to do is sign up at rock102.com before the end of the day on January 19th. We'll choose one winner at random. We'll score a pair of tickets to see the show. It's your chance to get the let out. Delivering Led Zeppelin live like you've never heard before from Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock.
You know, I'm always willing to help out with like community service stuff.
Sure.
You know, I do this comedy show every year for the Westfield Elks Lodge, and like I said yesterday, last year we did it because the sewer pipe was corroding on the building. And the reason why it's important to keep the building up is because that's where the members meet, and that's where they also conduct business to help other organizations throughout the community. And I really didn't pay too much attention to this charity that we're doing this year, A Bed for Every Child. And I remember years ago going like house hunting with my wife.
Right.
And like looking at different properties and stuff. And I remember going into this one house in Westfield, and clearly it was somebody had been evicted from the home. And, like, all of the stuff was left behind, you know, all the belongings and stuff. And my wife, who had worked in social services for many years, just immediately recognized that these kids or kid that was sleeping in this one room didn't have a bed. Like, it was just blankets on the floor,
right,
and a bunch of toys. And I was like, well, there's so many people that deal with that there are these, you know, and yeah, whatever. You can place your blame on whoever's fault that is or whatever. But I mean, it's a kid. The kid doesn't have the choice of that.
Well, when you start placing blame, you're making big assumptions about why things are the way they are. And when you see something like this, you're like, well, you know, there's got to be something that can be done.
And I just remember like thinking how horrible that was. And then there's this organization called A Bed for Every Child. And I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself, it hit me at first. I'm like, what are you talking about? These kids don't have beds. And then I remembered that incident going, yeah, there's probably a lot of kids that don't have beds. And so that's the charity that we're doing it for. They take and they get donations, and then they order these beds, and then they put them together or they bring them to whoever needs them, and then they put them together in the house. And they're looking to do like 100 beds for these things. And I can't remember what the exact amount of a single bed was, but it wasn't that expensive.
Right.
But any dollar amount helps. So we're going to be doing a comedy show next Saturday night at the Westfield Elks Lodge. Tickets are only $25. You got Cody Montaigne, who was there for our Mayflower Marathon.
He did a great job.
Comedy night there, and he's going to be headlining the night, and I'll be there. We'll see if we can get some other comedians involved as well. But you know, it's one of those organizations that does good. You know that the items that you're donating to, or the money that you're donating to, is going to go to items that can go to good use and put a kid in a bed. I mean, some kids like sleeping on the floor.
Yeah, you know, but not every day.
No.
Some kids like sleeping on a bed, probably better.
That gets old after a while. You can't ask a kid who's sleeping on the floor, hey, what's your sleep number?
No, it's zero.
It's zero.
Zero elevation.
Actually, it would be the hardest is 100. So this would be like 110. You know?
Yeah.
And I'm making jokes because it's the only way I can cope with the fact that there are so many kids out there that don't have accommodations, basic needs, to sleep. So if you want to help us out, you can grab tickets. You can email me at steve@rock102.com. You can go on my social media, Facebook, Instagram, and you can find the QR code to buy those tickets. They're only $25, and you get to And I said, for an extra $100 donation, I'll let you watch one of the old guys down in the bar eat a bunch of pickled eggs. 50 pickled eggs.
Nobody can eat 50 pickled eggs.
Oh, he can eat 50 pickled eggs.
50 eggs.
And ham hocks. But again, great organization being helped out by the Westfield Elks Lodge, so we hope you can join us.
Scott Zolak joining us in just a few minutes, brought to you by Window World. It's 7:54 on Rock 102.
Sing it with me.
Get the Let Out, the mighty tribute to Led Zeppelin.
Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 8:09, and that's Rush on Rock 102.
Mix of sun and clouds today with wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour. That continues into tomorrow morning at around 1 a.m. Tomorrow, mix of sun and clouds with a high of 35. It's 20 right now in downtown Springfield.
Apparently, Scott Zolak is too busy helping the Patriots interview candidates for the head coaching position, so he will not be joining us today. It would have been brought to you by Window World, and I'm sure they're very happy to know that they don't have to listen to all of what he had to say.
Well, Scott's mentioned before that he owns a pickup truck, so maybe he's just helping Gerard Mayo move a few things. Hey, can you help me move this weekend?
Can we move a couch or something?
Maybe my dignity out of this office.
Yeah, right.
Can you help me move that? Yeah, sure. I got a Ram 1500. I'll take that stuff right out of there.
Good idea.
Well, we'll just do a hodgepodge conversation. There's many different things to talk about.
It's Bax and Nagle's Hodgepodge Lodge.
You like Hodgepodge Lodge?
I do. Remember that show? Or are you too? No, you're too young for that.
Too young for that.
The Hodgepodge Lodge.
Number one, the first thing is tomorrow is our cake day here at Rock 102. That we talked about that yesterday. About it being the January birthdays.
Yeah.
And there's only one person celebrating a birthday, and that's Leah from Laser 99.3. And she requested a pina colada cake from La Fiorentina.
Sure, it's delicious.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Fantastic.
Do you think that's him on the phone?
I don't know. Do you really want to try it?
Yeah, let's see. Let's see if it's him.
At Rock 102, good morning. Is this?
Hey, why don't you have an open line Thursday?
Hey, I'll tell you what, Macadamia, you can wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, wait till tomorrow.
Hey, do you recognize my voice? I was trying to disguise my voice.
Yeah, you do a great job of it.
You sound like a cleaner RFK Jr.
Yeah, well, I'm going to clean up the health care. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna,
Sans the brainworm.
All right, tell you what, why don't you hold that thought and wait for tomorrow for open lines, okay?
All right, I can't wait. Thank you. Have a great day.
All right, pal, there you go.
Well, that was totally not worth it. Anyway, so
Cake day.
Cake day's tomorrow. And when I I ordered it last week. I went in there Friday, and I ordered it. I said I'd like the pina colada cake for next Friday. And then for some reason, they made me pay for it then.
I don't know if that's such a crazy idea.
Yeah, but the last time I went and they didn't make me pay for it then. They waited until somebody else came and picked it up, and, that's exactly what's going to happen again tomorrow. Somebody else will pick up that cake. But I said, all right, well, it's not a big deal. I'll just pay for it now.
And you'll get reimbursed.
I'll get the receipt. Well, guess what?
What?
I lost the receipt. Do you think that they could drum up another one if you asked them?
Steve, these are the spoils of being the cake czar in the in this building. If you're not prepared to hold on to your receipts, I don't have to tell you, pal.
I don't know. I
you may
don't
be
know.
SOL on this one.
I have no idea what I did with it. But I think that hopefully that they'll be nice enough to issue some sort of other receipt for that cake.
Well,
that I did. Otherwise, it was cash. So I have no proof
oh, yeah.
of paying for it other than that receipt.
Now, the pina colada cake, a yellow sponge cake soaked in rum, coconut-flavored whipped cream, and pineapple.
Maybe that's why.
Now, the last one we had was a rum cake. Mm-hmm. It didn't taste too rummy. It's actually quite delicious.
Yeah.
So I'm going to assume that this pina colada one is not also too rummy, but it tastes more like pineapples and coconut. Sounds delicious.
Like I've said, there's nothing like getting slightly buzzed on a Friday morning at Rock 102 after the show. So hopefully I can recoup that receipt to get reimbursed for the money. Because I'm building morale around here, one cake at a time.
Do you remember the actual cost of the cake?
It's like $35.
All right, that's a good cost for the cake. There are other people on this committee.
Yes, there's only one other person on this committee.
Will they vouch for you?
I don't think she will. I think she thinks I'm a scumbag too. So
she
says I don't trust this guy. Maybe he didn't pay for it.
Also, what is the deal with the? Yeah, I know. But if you say, because she picked it up the last time, right?
Yeah.
All right, so she knows you wouldn't be, pulling her leg by saying it's $35.
Well, it's going to be paid for. I mean, she's going to pick it up. It's the price on the website. I'm not lying about that.
No, I'm not saying you're lying about it. What I'm saying is she could vouch for the price.
Yeah.
Which in turn would make it easier for you to recoup the expense of the cake.
I don't know what the auditors say about that. Like, when they audit Rock 102, they say, well, wait a minute. You can't just have I owe you $35 for a cake. This doesn't work like that in the real world.
Here's the thing. Given a side-by-side comparison between you and Aaron, Aaron is clearly the more trustworthy of the two. So if Aaron is saying it's a $35 cake, then the $35 will be paid.
Right.
Because then no one's going to believe she's going to be a bald-faced liar.
But she has access to the company credit card. I do not have access to that.
Because you can be trusted with it. That's the whole thing.
Why can't I be trusted with it?
Because you not only get a cake, you get like 4,000 cookies, and you probably buy a truck.
No, I wouldn't do that. There's not enough credit limit on that for that.
That's why they got to pay it in full every month.
Our credit rating has been downgraded in the last couple of years for a variety of reasons.
Mostly for an inability to pay.
Yeah, non-payment of funds, interest rates of 29.9%. That stuff adds up pretty quickly.
That $500 credit limit adds up pretty quick.
Yeah. So
it's the introductory rate.
Hopefully, I'll be able to be reimbursed for that $35.
I gotta believe you probably will.
Yeah.
I have to believe that will be the case.
And then there's other months throughout the year where people don't have birthdays.
So then what do we do?
Well, we're going to for March, there's nobody who has a March birthday here anymore. So I think we're going to have to go with like a leprechaun cake or something, something
Can we do
St. Patty like
an in memoriam?
Yes, we should do an in memoriam cake of all the former Rock 102 employees with all their names on it.
I'm not saying invite them back. I'm just saying at least have a list of people that we remember, born in March.
But that's what this is all about. It's about getting our fellow coworkers together. And last time we reminisced, we sat there for a good 40 minutes talking about the way things were around the yesteryear of Rock 102.
Now I sadly have plans after the show, so I won't be here for this cake. So
whoa, are you bailing on morale?
No.
Yeah?
I think because in most cases, I would love to be a part of any distribution of cake, but I have other plans, and so I'm not going to be able to be here for Leah's cake. And no reflection on Leah, but I have other obligations.
All right. Well, you know what? Leah didn't show up last time.
She didn't?
No.
Are you sure?
You know why?
Why?
She didn't understand what it was all about and thought it was just a bunch of hoopla. And then she realized...
How complicated is it to figure out cake day?
Well, and then she realized that she could pick her own cake. Apparently, nobody reads instructions that I send. This is why I don't send out staff emails, because nobody pays attention to them anyway. She didn't realize that that's what we were doing.
It's the easiest thing in the world to figure out.
When she realized it was solely her birthday and she solely gets to pick the cake with no contest from anybody else in the building,
right?
Then she was interested.
Well... Yeah. Isn't that interesting that she's made it all about her this cake day on her birthday?
But what in the Dave Coombs violating privacy thing are you doing after the show on Friday that you can't be here for Morale Cake Day?
Well, you're going to find this to be ironic. I have a friend of mine. We meet up like every couple of weeks to have coffee together.
Yeah.
And I made plans to have coffee with my buddy.
Can you have your buddy come here and you can have coffee and cake here for free?
Here's the ironic part about all of this, Steve. Guess where we're going?
Where?
La Fiorentina.
Okay, well, why did you just invite him here?
I don't want him to have to be exposed to these people.
Why not? Don't your friends want to see what the inner workings of your life are by the people that you work with?
My buddy has seen all he needs to see about the inner workings of my life. He's had quite a lot of exposure. We're gonna have a coffee date with a pal of mine.
Should Bax invite his friend to Cake Day at Rock 102? 293-1021.
We could very easily go to La Fiorentina, ask for a slice of cake, a cake that we both actually want, and celebrate Leah from afar.
Yeah, but now you're paying for it. You don't have to pay for it if you're here. You can enjoy a delicious piece of cake without paying for it. It's on the company dime. Well, it's actually on my dime at this point.
Actually, my buddy usually grabs the first round of coffee. I grab the second one. The refills are much cheaper than the first.
Oh, is that how you do
it,
you cheap bastard?
Trust me, it works out great.
But yeah, come on. Bring your friend. Bring your friend.
Listen.
Let's break cake together. And they can also participate in the old Radio Day stories.
But he doesn't have any old Radio Day stories.
He doesn't?
No.
Well, what does he do?
He's retired.
What did he do?
He was a CO at the jail.
Oh, well, see, he can talk to us about, all the people that used to spit on him and left and right and how they never had that kind of morale at the jail.
Are they kidding me? He had nothing but morale at the jail.
Well, they used to have rum cake at the jail, but that's since been banned. We're not allowed to have any more La Fiorentina cakes for morale cake.
The pina colada cake has been axed.
Oh, no morale days at the Hampden County House of Corrections anymore.
I got to tell you, I'm looking forward to when September rolls around, and it's my choice. I don't know how many September birthdays we have.
I think it's you and one other person.
Really?
Yeah.
Will they still be here by the time September rolls around?
Well, only time will tell. We've said that about many people who have walked through the halls of this building, that hey, we'll see you in September. And then by September comes, they're like, hey, whatever happened to that guy?
So when anybody leaves or gets fired or finds a better job, we all sit around and scratch their name off the cake calendar.
What would be your choice?
I kind of like the cannoli cake at La Fiorentina. Very delicious.
Yeah,
tastes like a big giant cannoli.
Okay,
with a cannoli filling. Delicious.
Yeah, you sound like a guy that likes cannolis.
Well, I mean, is that a negative?
Well, I mean, you look at the shape of a cannoli and look what's inside of it. That would fit your type of personality. For sure.
I mean, there's a lot of cake here that's been dipped in booze, and I don't really need that per se.
Yeah, but it's just dipped in. It's not like you're getting drunk off.
No,
the cake.
I know that. But if it's my birthday, I want something that I want.
Yeah.
The cappuccino cake sounds pretty good.
Now, when October comes around, only two people celebrate birthdays in October, and that's the cake czar and the cake queen. So we get to choose a lunch. We're gonna get a catered lunch.
What?
As a big thank you to the fact
you're thanking yourself.
Yes.
What kind of power hungry kangaroo court are you running over there?
Not just a cake from La Fiorentina, but maybe we can get a catered lunch from like Frigo's or something like that.
Well, they do sandwiches and salads at La Fiorentina.
I know, but I prefer the pastry at La Fiorentina and the food over at Frigo's.
Right across the street, for crying out loud.
Right, but we can have room for it. Don't you think that's a good reward for people who have worked so hard to improve morale around here?
How many hours are you really devoting to this? I mean, how hard are you really working?
Well, I think if you add up all the minutes by the end of the year, it's about 45 minutes that we've spent on coordinating Cake Day.
Which is about the length of a lunch.
Right.
Okay.
So
all right.
I think, and besides, I'm all about spending the company's money.
Since they're so easily willing to spend it on you.
Well, they're not. That's the whole point. If I can run a scam under a guise of going, yes, I'm building morale around here, even though this is my benefit, I should be working at an AT&T store down in Stafford Springs. That's how you get commission around here.
Well, I'm sorry I'll miss the cake on Friday.
Well,
but
hopefully I'll get reambused.
I hope you do.
Yeah.
It's 8:23 on Rock 102.
3 words that taste great together.
Bourbon, barbecue. 8:32 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's time for news. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
There really is too much emphasis on these celebrity homes being devastated by these California fires because they're not the only people that live out there. And frankly, the fraction of people that are celebrities versus just regular people who have lost everything
probably a number of people that get like 1,200 square foot homes who have been devastated too. And frankly, I feel worse for those people than I do about someone who just lost a $5 million house.
Wildfires that are burning in and around Los Angeles have burned the homes of several celebrities, including Billy Crystal, Mandy Moore, and Paris Hilton. Won't you please think of the desolate celebrities?
Poor
Granted,
Paris Hilton.
I mean, I'm not downplaying the fact that losing a home is a devastating thing.
But you're absolutely right. There's lots of everyday Joes and Josephines out there who are also losing everything they got, and no one's saying anything about them.
Probably somebody don't even have insurance because they can't afford it because of the high cost of living. You know what I mean?
Right.
California firefighters are battling wind-whipped fires tearing across the area, destroying homes, clogging roadways as tens of thousands fled, and straining resources as the fires burned uncontained Wednesday. Crystal and his wife, Janice, released a statement Wednesday saying their home of 45 years in the Pacific Palisades neighborhood was lost. Janice and I lived in our home since 1979. We raised our children and grandchildren here. Every inch of our house was filled with love, beautiful memories that can't be taken away. We are heartbroken, of course, but with the love of our children and friends, we will get through this, they wrote in a statement. Their neighborhood is in a hillside area along the coast dotted with celebrity residences and memorialized by the Beach Boys and their 1960s hit Surfin' USA. I'm glad that the mainstream media is really getting to the hard-hitting parts of what the devastation has caused. In the frantic haste to get to safety, roadways became impassable when scores of people abandoned their vehicles and fled on foot, some toting suitcases. Evacuated Malibu so last minute, wrote Hamill in an Instagram post Tuesday night. Small fires on both sides of the road as we approach the Pacific Coast Highway. There was something I was going to say about this, and I can't remember now. It just kind of escaped me. I know they have the dousing of the fires from the airplanes that looked, it was kind of a cool scene to watch it, whoosh, like this big giant flame just kind of get put out like that. But there was some guy who was on a pier yesterday, and he had it pointed towards the fires burning.
Right.
And then Nicolas Cage happens to just walk by, and he waves at the camera. And
like it's a red carpet ceremony?
Well, no, like he probably thought it was for him that they were filming him, but they were actually filming the fire.
Yeah, well, that's just Nick Cage. Never saw a camera he didn't love.
Oh, hey everybody! I'm just walking by on this fire here. Come see my next 10 movies I put out on that crappy channel there.
I mean, it is devastating when you see the videos of the damage and the buildings in the area that are still burning. But my God! And
then there was some jackhole like millionaire yesterday on Twitter or whatever it's called now, X or whatever, and he's like, does anybody know where I can find private fire services? We'll pay any amount to protect his home.
Private fires, okay.
Well,
sure.
I'm sure there are. I'm sure you can.
There probably are, but how about maybe saving full neighborhoods of people rather than just you?
Those are the kinds of people that say they will pay any amount until the bill comes due.
And then they'll be dragged into court for non-payment.
Right. The Oscar nominations are also being delayed 2 days to January 19th, and the Film Academy has extended the voting window to accommodate members affected by the fires. Thank God that we're taking care of all these folks.
Yes. Thank goodness.
An investigation is being conducted after a woman's body was found inside Forest Park in Springfield on Tuesday night. Springfield police spokesperson Ryan Walsh said that approximately 5 p.m. on Tuesday, officers were sent to the 300 block of Trafton Road. When officers arrived, they found an adult woman dead. The Hamden DA's office spokesperson Elijah Ayers told 22 News that the body was in the Campstar Angelina area of Forest Park. The Hamden DA's office, in conjunction with the Springfield Detective Bureau's homicide unit, is conducting an unattended death investigation at this time. Let's do some happier stories. How about that?
Yeah, that would be great.
CES, we were talking about that the other day, the Consumer Electronics Show.
Yeah.
Is an overwhelming, dazzling show full of promises for the future. No problem is too large. Everything will be solved thanks to tech, but don't expect everything to be on the market immediately. Oftentimes, the coolest products on display are more conceptual than items that you'll have in your house anytime soon. So this person says, when they hit the expansive event that spans several convention centers, ballrooms, and expo halls, They had one goal in mind: find products that are actually available for the modern consumer. And what they came up with was the Garmin Instinct 3. With a rugged build, an option to get solar charging, it's perfect for the true outdoorsman. Comes in different colors and is at a more affordable price point than some higher-end Garmin smartwatches like the Fenix 8, which allows for music storage and has topo active maps. What you'll get with the Instinct 3, an incredible battery life that's basically unlimited if you're in a sunny environment. So if you get lost in the woods and there's thunderstorms, you're screwed.
Yeah, but you hold on to a charge until it comes back out.
You know, one of the interesting things I heard about if you're like lost somewhere, if you're stranded out in the middle of nowhere and you don't have a lot of cell service,
yeah,
you change your voicemail to the last location that you were at, because if you're going to run out of battery, at least somebody can start looking for you in that location. Like, hey, I'm lost. Here's where I am. I'm X amount of miles outside of whatever city.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of the desert or, wherever. You're maybe in the middle of the woods or something like that.
All right, but before you do that, you got to clean out your voicemail inbox, because otherwise it gets full and you'll never get the help you need.
See, that's an annoying thing about people, too. Do you ever call somebody? Sorry, the person who has this voicemail box doesn't have any more room to take any more messages.
Their mailbox is full. It's annoying.
Very annoying. This is the Garden 4.0, Gardyn, with groceries getting more and more expensive and with questions about the quality of food systems abound. Interest is growing in your own produce has gained popularity over the last couple of years into the Garden 4.0, which is the smartest vertical home gardening system on the market. These are things I would never use.
I mean, I suppose if you like live in you lived in an apartment and didn't have garden space, this would be an okay thing to have.
How about this one? The Brisket Grill. The grill is oftentimes a place for chefs of varying ability to show off. The Brisket series of grills makes it easy for everyone. Their app will help you put together a meal based on what you have in the fridge and pantry. It's actually a pretty helpful tool.
I guess.
Tell you exactly how to cook it and even initiate the grill to get the job done. All you have to do is make sure there are wood pellets in there and that the meat or vegetables are properly placed. The Walking Pad C2.
What is that?
The concept of walking while you work is another vestige from the pandemic lockdowns that appears here to stay. These are these pads that people bring in their offices and they start walking on them all day.
Yeah.
This person was able to handle their most popular unit. They've sold more than 200,000 models in the last month. And with their patented folding technology, it's remarkable how easy it is to move around and put away. With research out, walking can be almost as effective as running or burning calories. It seems like a good investment, especially in January when they're running $100 off coupon. How about the Nebraska Magic Steamer 1? That sounds very dirty.
Like that does sound a little deceptive.
You ever get a Nebraska Magic Steamer? A lot of corn in there. Yeah. Lots of corn.
One time I do it, and everybody wants to call me the steamer.
Nebraska's co-founder, Miming Gu.
Sure it is.
Well, that's what you get. You get a Miming Gu when you get a Nebraska steamer. Said that she doesn't understand why there hasn't been more innovation in the world of steam irons or handheld clothes steamers, which is why she was inspired to bring the Magic Steamer 1 to the market. It's a steamer that utilizes an in-unit vacuum to make sure no steam is wasted and the process goes as fast as possible. I have one of those Conair ones that I bought for like $50 like 10 years ago, and the thing still works just fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Why do people need to seem to like try to reinvent the wheel instead of making something actually better?
You know, we got a steamer. It's not an inefficient thing. I don't think we need an upgrade.
How about this one? The Iris One was the darling of Best Reviews Testing Lab. It makes it easy to unplug and relax after a long day, and it's smart in terms of how it distributes heat and massages your temple areas. It's one of these like home massagers that heats your face too.
Yeah, this is the problem with the Consumer Electronics Show. It's all stuff that nobody ever really needs
or can afford, for that matter.
Well, there's that too.
There's a little too much emphasis on these expensive items that the regular person just can't afford, nor would you want to waste your money on it.
Listen, I don't like spending that much money on those things either, but Nothing that what you've told me here is a situation where like I've got to have that. Nothing. You presented nothing here that I need to have.
Let's move on to something else. A 51-year-old man named Clint Ferguson went on a tirade in the parking lot of a shoe store in Louisiana on Saturday.
Okay.
You know, where most tirades happen, at a
Sure.
shoe store. It's unclear what started it, if anything, but Clint pulled up to a car and shouting racial slurs like, "I hate N-words."
Oh, good.
Well, I hate B words and D words and
Pretty
much the entire alphabet.
The words,
Yeah.
the entire alphabet. I'm not really crazy about.
One victim called 911 while another got out of the car and stood in front of Clint's vehicle in an attempt to stop him from leaving until the police arrived. Clint drove around that person and ran over the victim's foot. That victim then punched Clint through the open driver window as he drove away. The punch must have hit him square in the face. Because Clint was later arrested in his mugshot, he's sporting a big, fresh shiner.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, there's karma for you. Right?
Yep.
I mean, I don't know what drives people to do something like that.
Yeah, but you've seen that happen, right? Like someone gets clocked upside the face for absolutely no reason at all. You ever see that happen?
Yeah, but this guy didn't get clocked up for no reason. He got clocked up because he was, shouting things at people, and the guy ran over a guy's foot.
I suppose he needed a lesson.
He was charged with felony aggravated battery, misdemeanor hate crimes, and resisting an officer. He's still locked up on a $50,000 bond. But, man, does his face look effed up.
Really get tagged pretty good?
Yeah, whoever the guy was that gave him the oh, it's like blood dripping down his nose.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
He's got it down his throat.
That's handsome.
And, well, I guess if you're going to start spouting racial epithets in front of a shoe store.
I think you have to expect that someone's going to have a protest for that kind of behavior.
I wonder what drives people to do that. Like, okay, you can be a racist, whatever. There's plenty of those out there in the world. But the act of actually just randomly driving up to a shoe store of all places and just start saying things like that.
I mean, there are people of all cultures that need shoes.
Everybody needs shoes. It doesn't matter what color, what race or creed you're from.
I'm not the kind of person that would ever scream out racial epithets for any reason in any neighborhood, in any front of your retail location.
I never saw that.
Because I'm not crazy.
I never saw that happen at a Payless. A Foot Locker now on the other hand.
I don't know. I mean, I never saw, say, like a race riot break out at a Fava.
No, or a Skechers.
Not once. Not even once.
Or Fred Shoes over in 16 Acres there.
Not there.
Is that guy still in business? Fred's Shoes?
I don't know if Fred's is still around. No, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I think they are.
Good for him.
I think Fred is still in business.
Good for him for staying afloat, that Fred.
That's the one by Winnick.
Yeah, right next to Sophia's.
We went to Hot Table the other day. They were still open.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
See? So you just got to refresh your memory every once in a while.
I have to reorient myself.
All right, well, that was the most boring newscast we've done in a long time.
Steve, it's Thursday. What are you going to do?
Your Pioneer Valley forecast today, mix of sun and clouds with a high of 27. Wind gusts still up to 50 miles an hour. That'll end supposedly tomorrow morning at 1 a.m. Tomorrow, mix of sun and clouds with a high of 35. It's 22 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so.
And Ozzy with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Mix of sun and clouds with a high of 25 today. Wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour. That should end by tonight. And then tomorrow, sunny with a high of 35. It's 22 right now in downtown Springfield.
You know, Steve, the funny thing about today is today happens to be a Thunderbird Thursday. Mm-hmm. And in fact, this Thunderbird Thursday includes 4 tickets to Saturday's sold-out game against Providence. Includes a 4-pack of koozies, and I believe it also includes hats.
Oh, hats.
Tickets, koozies, and all of that. And in fact, a winner could get all of that stuff by simply being the 10th caller at 293-1021 on a Thunderbird Thursday from Rock 102.
How about that?
I know. It's exciting.
Real quick before we go into the break to do that.
Yeah.
I'm reading these because that website took me to the Smoking Gun, and Smoking Gun has the concert riders. Remember they used to, well, they still do it.
Yeah.
But they have them all on there. But one of the newer artists that's on there is Taylor Swift. This is all she requires on her bus. You ready? Starbucks, if available by 11 a.m.
Okay.
It's like one grande iced caramel latte with 2 sweet and lows. Oh, she's a sweet
Sweet
and
low
low
girl.
Oh,
Just
my
like
God.
you. You're
Yeah.
a sweet and low girl.
I'm a sweet and low man. Usually I'm bitter and high, but that's something else. 1 case of Smart Water, 2 large cans of black olives, 6 bottles of vitamin water, 1 small box of thin spaghetti, 1 jar of ragu.
Ragu?
What? 1 cucumber, 1 shredded lettuce bag, and 1 bag of croutons. That's all she has on her bus.
Doesn't she ask for the brown M&Ms to be separated from all the others?
No, she doesn't. It's actually a very simple thing that she asks for.
That's like asking for nothing at all.
Yeah, but I don't think she's that kind of person that really asks for a whole lot. You know what I mean?
But she could be. That's the thing.
She could be, but I think that's what makes her more like relatable to the even though she's making billions of dollars.
Let this sink in here for a second. This is Taylor Swift, probably worth close to $1 billion, if not over $1 billion.
Yeah,
and she wants ragu.
Yeah,
wouldn't you have like I don't know, say like Gordon Ramsay pop on over and make yourself a tomato sauce? That's a whole lot better than a jar of ragu.
Yeah, but maybe she's just a thrifty and saving money, trying to have other people save money by providing her with these items.
She doesn't have to save money. That's my point.
However, on bus number 2, which is the band bus, there's a whole list of items, including 4-pack of Red Bull, 1 box of grape nuts.
Grape nuts?
Yeah. 1 box of Triscuits, 1 pack of regular cream cheese, 1 quart of orange juice, a quart of V8, a gallon of whole milk, 6-pack of Coke, Dr. Pepper. Oh, these are all 6-pack. Dr. Pepper Diet Coke, caffeine-free Diet Coke, fresh whole apples, tortilla chips, and then they get into a 12-pack of Corona, a 12-pack of Newcastle, and a 6-pack of Sparks.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think my tour writer would be so much different. You know?
I don't require anything.
Like a box of Ring Dings, maybe some Fritos, maybe some, I don't know, cup of coffee.
Yeah. When I went down to Mohegan Sun and did that whole comedy thing.
Yeah.
They really treat you. They treat you very well there. And they're like, you can get whatever you want off the menu. We'll even get you something like, somewhere else in the casino if you want to. Like, that's what the privilege, I guess, is of the headliner.
Did you take advantage of it?
I didn't take advantage of any of it. Because I was more focused on, let me get through this act. I can't eat and then go on stage. Like, that's just not something that you have to go on hungry, Bax. You have to go on hungry.
No. See, I can't do anything on an empty stomach.
But I don't require anything. I mean, if you just give me a bottle of water, I'll be happy. Something to help me from being parched.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I require is just a bottle of water.
Ring Dings, Fritos, coffee.
I guess
overflowing bowl of fat.
I guess if I wanted to be a real dick, I could be like, yes, I require 3 cannolis, specifically from a bakery in East Longmeadow, Massachusetts.
And a very specific one into that.
But I like how the band is having a hell of a lot. I want to be on the band. I don't even want to meet Taylor Swift.
You
With
just
her
want to be
shredded lettuce and her croutons and her ragu.
Please.
Yeah. I'd rather be on the band bus with the Newcastle and the Sparks.
It's 8:58 at Rock 102.
Live in concert, Saturday nights at 9 on Rock 102. The best performances from classic rock greats.
Back to 2004 we go this weekend on the Honkin' on Bobo Tour with Aerosmith.